Yesterday I was out taking care of some business. I ran into a woman, a black woman my age, maybe a little younger than me, but she was old. And I don't run into many old people. It's like they all died out or something, or they all retired at home or something, right? But when she saw me, she was like, "Well, are you that YouTuber man?" I'm like, "Yes." Jesse Peterson, yeah. I love your show. I love it. She was like, "You're right." And she was black. My country is gone. She said, "I'm so glad that I was born when I was born. I'm so glad that I had all my babies when I had them and was able to raise them up before all this stuff happened." And she was just talking for a long time, but it was grown up talk. I felt like I was talking to a grown person. And I realized there are no grown ups anymore. I noticed that men and women don't grow up. What's wrong with y'all? You don't become like adults. Like adults. You don't become like grown people. Does that make sense? What happened to that? Because like we naturally became grown people. I became 18, and went out on my own. And 18, I was learning and growing. I would get my own apartments and jobs and pay my own bills. And then when I ran into people, I would talk like a grown person to them. And then my style changed from kid clothes to teenage clothes to grown men clothes. Now, I see everybody looking at the clothes now. I'm just saying. And then at some point I decided I'm gonna buy a house, And as a grown man, I didn't call my mama or anybody to say, should I buy a house? I went out and bought a house. I was a grown up. And then when I would meet other grown up, we talk grown up talk. You know what I mean? But I don't see grown people growing up. I see, what happened? I know that everything, what happened to the growth? And then we showed you, and then I will get to you. We showed you a video of a woman in the airport with her little dog, like everybody has a dog, right? And her dog used the bathroom in the airport, and she was walking away from it. And she would leave it right there on the ground, on the floor, in the airport, and somebody said, "Hey, your dog," and used the bathroom. And she gave the person the finger. Rather than saying, "You're right, I'm sorry, thank you," or something, she looked like she should have been grown, but she gave them the finger. And so I was thinking that everything, service is bad attitude everywhere, insecurity everywhere. What happened to the grown up, naturally growing up? Yes.
I feel like a lot more not grown people are having kids, so these kids don't have grown folks to look up to. So you have waves and waves of people growing up without the proper influence. So that's probably what happened.
That's why we don't have more grown people?
More grown attitudes at the proper age. That's what I feel like.
That's amazing to me. Yes, Raymond. And then you want to tell me where the grown-ups are? Sure. Okay. Yes, Raymond.
I always believe that the young people were taught to rebel against the adults, and now we have nobody but young people trying to raise young people. So, like the gentleman said, there's nobody adult to look up to nobody there to set an example. There's an old saying I remember: some people grow up and some people just grow older.
That's for sure. Because I'm talking about 50-year-old men and women. Like not even the young, the 31 don't grow up either, but look like at 50, look like something should. Don't you mind like Clint each year to like grown up? No. Yes.
I just think the world's gotten too soft, basically. It's really it.
Are you living out here now?
I moved out here for 2 months.
You did?
Yeah, just for the summer.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Amazing. You said what happened?
The world's gotten too soft. Everybody coddles everybody now. You know, the government coddles you, your parents coddle you, the women are in control. So, you know, you don't grow.
And so the mind stopped clicking after 10 years or something? Look like every 10 years there's another growth. But the mind stopped because the government and everybody taking care of you.
Possibly. I don't know how it is in the rest of the world. Maybe they're a little more manly.
In the other part of the
male or
world?
female. What?
In the rest of the world?
Yeah.
I counsel with men and women around the world. It's the same everywhere.
Really?
It's, yeah. Something happened. Yes.
Maybe it's because we don't
Give me a
have.
napkin there.
Maybe it's because we don't have to do physical labor anymore. Really, like
You think that's what it is?
could be. It's like everything's soft. You're behind a computer.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to struggle as much.
I think you make a point with that. Because my ex-producer, Sean, before he left, he used to do physical labor back home on a farm and all that, and he really liked it. And then he became just working on the desk, so he would look for things around here to fix. And so he went back to his farm, and now he's doing real labor. But I noticed that he was a little bit more mature than other people I know.
I've seen pictures of kids, young kids, like in the 1900s, 5, 6-year-old kids. They look like grown men. They're hardened like grown men.
So work helps you to grow up too, huh? Oh, and taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's crazy that there are no grown men and women. Even the women are not grown up. They know how to treat the man a little better, but they're not grown women either.
Even people's faces don't look like they used to in the
Right.
50s and 60s.
What a mess. What a mess, huh?
Yeah.
Yes,
I was going to say something similar to what he said. We were expected to do things growing up. We had chores, and we had to do them. There was no getting out of it unless you were dying sick. We were learning how to do things. I remember when I was a kid, my littlest brother, he was about 1. He had to even carry like a loaf of bread as my mom went shopping. Yeah. He had to carry something in. So we were expected to do things. Anybody would tell us, any part of our family or any family friends would tell us, don't do that, stop doing that, quit doing, they would tell us stuff, whether it hurt our feelings or not. Yeah. And we were expected to do what they said as adults. And
that's a good point. Yeah. So. I don't ever remember not working.
Right.
I remember when I came out here, when I was 25, I started smoking pot a little bit. And then I heard that if you smoke pot, you could get free money from the government. And so I said, oh, cool. And so I went down to the welfare office, and I told them I smoke pot, so I can't work. And then they said, okay, let me let you talk to the doctor. So a little man was in the little next room. All he asked me was, do you smoke pot? I'm like, yeah, I just told him that. He said, okay. So they gave me welfare to pay my rent. I was buying my house at the time. So I was paying a house note. And then they gave me $300 cash, and they gave me food stamp. And then, so from that point forward, every weekend, I just planned to have a party. I used to buy all this stuff, and I would invite people over, we party all weekend. And then I felt lazy. I'm like, nah, this is not right. I don't like this, so I got off. I called them up and said, stop the checks. I'm getting a job. It didn't feel right. I don't know how to live that way without working. Isn't that amazing?